So we see a lot of presidential candidates on TV these days, and there are a lot of similarities in some of the positions that they take about themselves and about the country. Here is one example from Beto O'Rourke just days after the 4th of July.
This country was founded on white supremacy, and every single institution and structure that we have in our country still reflects the legacy of slavery and segregation and Jim Crow and suppression, even in our democracy.
That was remarkable. New York Post columnist Rich Lowry responded to that comment in a new op-ed today, writing this: just in case the newcomers were inclined to believe that they had escaped to the greatest country on earth, an open, dynamic, generous society that, whatever their struggles now, will afford them opportunities unimaginable back home. Beto was there to tell them of all its sins. He had made himself into an instrument of woke assimilation. Joining me now to talk about this and give us their opinions this evening, Charlie Kirk, founder and president of Turning Point USA, and Leslie Marshall, progressive radio talk show host and a Fox News contributor. Good to have both of you with us tonight. You know, I mean, that is a very striking comment that Beto O'Rourke made. Every single institution and structure in the United States of America still basically finds its footing in a discriminatory culture. Charlie?
Yeah, I don't know what country he's talking about. That's not America. And I don't understand what part of the population the Democrats are catering to here. I mean, from what I can understand, Donald Trump stole the base of the Democrat Party away from them, which was working class voters in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. And I guess this is an attempt by Democrats to try to find a new base. I mean, the base of essentially the Reagan Democrats of the 80s and 90s that voted for Clinton and voted for Gore and they voted for Kerry, they now came to Donald Trump. And now the Democrats are searching rapidly for a base that doesn't believe this is the greatest country ever to exist in the history of the world. And it's troubling and depressing for even myself as a patriot to have to see this sort of conversation happen. It's very, very disturbing.
I mean, there's a lot of, sort of down, negative feeling, and it's interesting because Chris Hahn was all fired up earlier tonight, Leslie, and he was saying, someone needs to bring back sort of that positive message about the country, that hopefulness that President Obama had that seems to be missing in this field right now.
Well, I wouldn't disagree that we need some more hope and change. But Beto O'Rourke isn't even in the top 5, so he certainly doesn't speak for the Democratic Party. He's not going to be the Democratic nominee. Recently, Beto O'Rourke admitted that he was an ancestor of slave owners, and perhaps he was doing some self-searching. But historically, he's not that off. I mean, white men came into this country and slaughtered, massacred Native Americans to take the land and make the country their own at one time. We do see in our current justice system, we do see in our current economic system, I think, things that harken back to some of our terrible sins historically.
So, Leslie, let me ask you
so
something.
That may be a downer,
I mean, we have had over the last decades generations of people who've come to this country, immigrants who have made this country very strong. And I know there's a huge debate right now about legal immigration versus illegal immigration in this country. But their whole message was, to become American, to embrace what the country offered, to aspire to have the American dream for you and your family. And it feels like, there's this feeling of, just having to sort of put on the mantle of shame about so much, Charlie.
Yeah, so the one thing I'll say is this, is if this was really true, why is it that Asian Americans are actually the wealthiest and highest incomes of any group in America? I mean, so that would actually go against the idea that the entire country is built on white supremacy still. And again, the U.S. Constitution was not written in Korean, it wasn't written in Chinese, but it shows that any individual, any person that comes here with hard work and entrepreneurial attitude can succeed. And I'm really depressed to see that a whole party seems to be positioning away from this.
Leslie, super quick, final thought.
It's not a whole party positioned away, but I think in light of some comments recently even made by our president toward 4 minority individuals who have achieved the American dream, I don't think that some of the fear of hatred along those lines is unwarranted.
All right. Well put, both of you. Thank you very much. Good to have you here tonight.